This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning. Welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Excuse me, but it is Friday. Welcome on, welcome in. It is a celebration here for the weekend. Also, things I've learned today, but just by randomly looking up what is today, and it's like happy this day, happy that day. It's Happy 7-Eleven Day. I don't think we have a 7-Eleven gas station around here, but I also learned it's National French Fry Day, and it's National Blueberry Muffin Day. So if you're a fan of both, like myself, enjoy it. Enjoy it with the outdoors, maybe too. Feature in some of the sunshine here for the day today, because that's what we have in store here for this afternoon. Yes, sunshine actually continuing into the afternoon. What a crazy concept. I know. To be fair, some of us were completely dry out yesterday. We kind of saw us trending in the right direction here yesterday, and that's what we expected here. Heading into the second half of the work week, where we're slowly getting fewer and fewer storms, and that kind of leads into the peak dry conditions here for the day today. Now, let me get this out as well. It is not fully dry today, all right? So for those of you that unfortunately do get a rain shower or two here for this afternoon, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, that could include areas like Natchitoches and Nacogdoches here for this afternoon. So essentially for the southern edge of the ArkLaTex, some of the storms that are going to be definitely across southern Louisiana are going to look to flare up northward and give us maybe a spotty storm or two, again, in those areas. The farthest north I realistically see a stray shower maybe going is the I-20 corridor. I don't see a storm at all in store for areas like Texarkana and essentially anywhere north of I-20. Shreveport, Bossier, we have a 10% rain chance in for today, but overall you get the point. It should be pretty dry here overall here for your Friday before, unfortunately, the weekend. It's not looking as good. Now, I wouldn't call the weekend a washout by any means, and it definitely is not. I don't think we're not getting storms all weekend long. We're also not facing too many severe weather issues, although there's some slim threats that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit that we are clinging on to with our storms here for this weekend. But for those of you sick of the wet weather, which unfortunately, yes, does come back here for the weekend, next work week is going to be for you, okay? We finally tailor into more of a sunny and dry forecast that will actually extend into the afternoon, like today, and that forecast is going to be mainly in store here for you next work week. But anyways, thank you for watching First Alert Weather Breakdown. Let me introduce myself. I realize I haven't. I just went straight into weather mode. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here in the Weather Center here on your Friday, right before it's the weekend after the 4th of July. Yeah. So, guess not as it's still summer weekend regardless. Next weekend is the Red River Balloon Rally. That'll be enticing to go to over to the Downs. We'll see if sunny forecast extends into that. We will have to keep you first alert. Obviously, that'll be an issue for next week. But hey, this weekend, well, not looking so good. Again, let's get to that here in just a moment. Let me tell you what we're after here for the day today on the docket. For those of you brand new and wondering what the heck we're doing here on this First Alert Weather Breakdown, what it is again, we go into the weather forecast more in depth, not just with the local forecast, but also giving you a forecast that we don't really get to in the news shows whatsoever. Here for the day today, our exclusive content is going over our regional forecast, which also is looking pretty rainy. So for those of you traveling or watching from the outside of the ArkLaTex, if you're in New Orleans, if you're in Dallas, if you're in Little Rock, if you're out in Mississippi or Monroe, this is the forecast for you, because we go over a forecast of what to expect, especially if you're, traveling outside of the ArkLaTex here just for a few hours, taking a little road trip away from here in for the weekend, which, believe it or not, I am doing myself. So I am kind of tailoring a forecast to me as well. But that's all after a local forecast, which we will go over first and foremost. Outside right now, plenty of sunshine across Bossier City. A nice outlook here for the day today. That heat, yes, it's going nowhere. We have no heat relief here. It's still in sight. It's the middle of summer. What do you expect? We're probably not having a drastic heat relief realistically until September at the earliest. And that's just even a little cold front of a little cooler day in store for you as well then. All right, so elsewhere, so that's the site in Bossier. You can actually fully see the blue skies out in our window world camera in Texarkana. Now, I will say these cameras did have lots of cloud cover. Still had a good amount of cloud cover to them, even for the past few mornings. So I know it's been pretty beautiful here over the past couple of mornings overall, but I think I'm already seeing a difference here for the start of this day compared to the last couple of days. Again, as I just said, we've found a lot of cloud cover on our current camera, on our cameras here that have been over the past couple of mornings. This morning, not really any cloud cover to be found, especially across the northern half of the ArkLaTex, indicating a lot less moisture to produce even less storms here for this afternoon. That's exactly what the recipe should be. And what it is here to produce, not really any storms. Lots of sunshine. We continue on with that. We don't deal with the rain at all. So for today, partly cloudy skies, mostly dry conditions in store for the majority of the ArkLaTex. This does not include everybody, though. Again, we'll get to that in just a little bit. Weekend, though, rain, that will include everybody, unfortunately. And yes, that will go on for both days. Saturday and Sunday looking to feature their own rain chances on both of those days. As for next work week, it's going to be sunny. We should not have we shouldn't have a substantial rain chance throughout the bulk of next week. Monday, I think, could feature maybe a shower or two still, but I think we'll completely dry things out here by the middle of next week, which will be nice. But unfortunately, hey, if you thought this week was hot, just wait for next week. Temperature. Oh, shoot, I clicked the wrong button there. That's what I get for, not what I get, but that's for Friday standards. That's an incorrect graphic, by the way. I hit the wrong button, hit the wrong key. Anyways, we're back on track here. 89 in Texarkana. Gotta love Friday bloopers there. 88 in Shreveport, 87 for Natchitoches, 83 into the Queen, 89 in Bienville. Obviously, this does not include the feels like temperature, which, yes, includes lots of humidity, which, of course, it does. It's the ArkLaTex during the summer. 97 right now is what it feels like already in Texarkana. 96 in for Shreveport. 95 for Natchitoches. It's just wild already. Our feels like temperatures definitely could be in the mid to upper 100s here for the day today, reaching as high as 110 here for this afternoon. Now, I keep forgetting that the colors with this graphic don't work out, but essentially, just playing the entire outlook and just looking at that word hot, the point is it stays hot here for the next 7 days. If anything, it could actually get even hotter here heading into the middle of next week. But for this afternoon, yes, feels like temperatures could be up to 105, especially for the northern half of the ArkLaTex. I'd say as high as 110 even for the northern half of the ArkLaTex. Meanwhile, the southern half might get a little relief thanks to a little bit of that stormy coverage trying to crawl into the southern edge of the ArkLaTex for you there. Tomorrow morning, more of the same. Muggy feel, making us feel like we're in the upper 70s, lower 80s to start off the day. And then with more present rain around for the weekend, which we'll talk about more in just a moment, that does limit, especially with the cloud cover from the rain, helps to limit how much and how hot we get, essentially, here for Saturday afternoon. The same thing's going to continue into your Sunday as well. Even then, highs are still in the mid-90s here for both Saturday and Sunday coming on up. That's still the high for today as well. Then for Tuesday, 97 degrees, the hottest day out of the next 5, even though it's not by that much, but that's going to be a trend. If you notice, from Sunday to Tuesday, we heat things up by 3 degrees. We're expected to heat things up even more. Highs could potentially peak as much as 100 degrees for actual temperatures next week. The feels like temperatures could reach maybe almost into the 110 to 120 range. I'm not going to lie to you. The middle of next week is looking to feature brutal, intense heat that, yes, could feel like it's 10 degrees hotter than what it has been even for the past couple of afternoons, which could, last point here I want to make about this, is that it could bring back heat advisories, and very well will bring back heat advisories and excessive heat warnings, which we haven't actually seen out for a little while around here. We've been having a nice break from that because we've been dealing with rain, and we continue to deal with that again heading into this weekend. It's still got another round to go through here for this coming weekend. And you can kind of see the trail here on the whole satellite picture. So low pressure and cold front. I made this drawing, just so you know, at about 5 in the morning. So now it's moved a little bit off to the east. Cold front's now with this trail of clouds. That's going through Wichita. It's starting to go into central Oklahoma around Oklahoma City and going through the western portion of Texas here right now. That's where the cold front is. If you don't see a whole lot of color to this, that actually means most of the system for now is drying up here for the time being. Bulk of the storms is rotating around this low pressure center up towards Iowa, Chicago, and up towards Minneapolis, states well off to our north, those kind of states have had the bulk of the severe weather over the past couple of days. Even though we've had storms here locally, the bulk of the severe weather with the storms has been way off to our north. Now, obviously, as you can see on this loop, this is continuing to move eastward, which eventually, if you follow the trajectory of this line, yes, rolls into the ArkLaTex and rolls into Shreveport. But this is going to be delayed a little bit. It looks like, again, here for the day-to-day, most of our concern is actually going to be with this, and I'm going to put it real quick. Most of our concern, if we do get a couple storms, is going to be from this, not this. This line of storms hits us over the weekend for Saturday and Sunday. If we do get storms here for the day today, which, again, there's a little chance, as I mentioned earlier, for Natchitoches and Nacogdoches, it's going to come from this little system, which is essentially storms flaring off of the Gulf of Mexico coming onshore. That's what we call sea breeze showers, which is essentially the cool air from the Gulf, the cool air up aloft. Let me rephrase that one more time. The hot air that's coming out of the south is heating up the moisture coming off of the Gulf of Mexico onshore, and that's forming storms, first of all, in areas like southeast Texas, and it's going to form them eventually later on this afternoon in southern Louisiana. So we're going to get to the regional forecast later, but essentially more storms are firing up along the I-10 corridor here for the day today, and a few of these, as you can kind of see on the IR satellite, especially with the cloud cover, these storms are trying to reach northward, and they could get as far north as technically the I-20 corridor, but most of it should be limited into the southern half and southern edge in particular of the ArkLaTex. Now, zooming back out here, I want to show you one last thing, because after this cold front hits on for the weekend, we have a high-pressure system out to our west. Now, this high-pressure system, believe it or not, has actually been there for a solid couple of days, probably solid 3 to 5 days now. It's been hunkering down across mainly the southwest corner of the United States. Now, it's actually nudging a little bit northward here for the day today, but that's actually a good sign because it's moving, and once this system actually moves, it's going to actually follow along the pattern of most of these low-pressure systems and finally kick eastward. And as this high-pressure system rolls eastward, it will then cover most of the central portion of the ArkLaTex with central portion of the United States with dry weather, and that will include the ArkLaTex. That's going to give us our big, substantial break away from the rain for the middle of next week. So, I mean, if you look currently over towards the west coast, essentially that weather is being dragged over here. It's being dragged eastward, essentially, and there's not much in terms of cloud cover at all for basically all of the western states. So, again, this is the last little round that we got to get through. Again, we're just to kind of give you a summary. We're dealing with this here for today. Storms are coming from the south up, trying to crawl into the southern edge of the ArkLaTex here for today. And then the storms for the weekend, we're going to be dealing with this line here for, again, both Saturday and Sunday. So zooming in here lastly real quick, again, you'll see, again, we kind of mentioned on the cameras, lots of abundant sunshine is already coming on into fruition here throughout the bulk of the ArkLaTex. So on our first Doppler radar, there is nothing to look at locally. Even Natchitoches and Nacogdoches are clear here for the time being. But then later on today, we'll go into this future track hour by hour. That's what we could do here on the first alert weather breakdown, is take it slow with this future track. So coming on by, heading into Friday in the afternoon. Looks like the storms could form up as soon as, say, 2 p.m. here for this afternoon, and it could reach, again, areas around Nacogdoches and Natchitoches. Future check maybe pinpointing to one storm north of I-20, barely in northwest Louisiana, but I think you get the point. The bulk of the storm coverage, and I'd say give it about a 30 to 40% chance of storms here in between areas of Nacogdoches and Natchitoches here for the day today. Now, I will say this future track is very aggressive. This could bring storms as far north as the I-20 corridor, and technically it could reach Shreveport here tonight, as this kind of suggests. I don't find it likely. Again, as I said, this is kind of a very aggressive future track, and what I mean by the word aggressive is showing more storms than what I believe will truly happen. It's kind of almost I would call it a worst case scenario type it, if you will. Then heading into Saturday, the point is, if you don't get stormed today, which again most of us won't, tomorrow, unfortunately, you're looking to feature more storms across everywhere around the ArkLaTex. Yes, that includes areas around Texarkana here for tomorrow afternoon. And we're looking at a good amount of storms, even continuing into tomorrow night in areas like northeast Texas and McCartan County there. Dry out quickly here for Sunday here for the most part. Looks like Sunday morning might bring in some brief couple storms here across northeast Texas and areas along and north of I-30 there for Sunday morning before Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. That's going to fill in the rest of the ArkLaTex. And then heading into Monday, there could be a few leftover storms, but overall, Monday is kind of the last day of getting storms before we head into that dry pattern that I discussed beforehand. All right, so for this is from the the Storm Prediction Center here early this morning. They did issue a slim marginal risk here with a couple storms moving into the northern edge of the ArkLaTex. Again, this is in effect for Sunday. This is going to be associated with Sunday storms. Just watching out for some strong winds, maybe some hail with this system. Tornadoes, I don't see that happening at all still with any of the storms coming through here for the weekend. As for the rainfall potential, about a ½ inch of rain likely around most of the ArkLaTex here, especially coming from the weekend. Again, this is the rainfall all the way through the end of Sunday. The good news is, look at the picture for the next 7 days. Does this look, this looks the exact same. This looks the exact same because it should be. It essentially means all of the rainfall over the next 7 days is just going to be coming only out of the next 3 days, which further clarifies that this rainfall potential map is keeping us mostly dry here from Monday all the way through Thursday. So again, for those of you sick of the rain, kind of like myself, it's a good sign for some dry weather and some sunny skies to be actually, again, sustained and continue into the afternoon. Meanwhile, again, our last round of rain across pretty much this entire 7-day forecast, unfortunately, yes, is hitting us over the weekend, over both days. Just watch out for those afternoon plans. If you have plans in the morning, they should be fine. And if you're trying to make plans, make them in the morning. It's going to be a better time to get out and around. So here's the full 7-day forecast here for you. 20% chance of storms technically here for the day today. Again, maybe a 30 to 40% chance of storms in and around Natchitoches. Most of the storms, again, in the southern half of the ArkLaTex in the afternoon hours, if they are going to hit. Then for Saturday and Sunday, those storms are widespread pretty much. They're just coming in isolated groups and bunches in throughout the region. Then once we get into next work week, it dries things out, but look at the temperatures. Our temperatures are sustained in the mid-90s here for the next 5 days here for the most part, but then cook things up to almost 100 degrees here by Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, man, it's going to be intense heat and intense sunshine here, especially once we get into, again, the bulk of next work week. All right, that is your full local forecast. If you have any questions, YouTube, that is our page to actually ask me a question live on the stream. When we come back, we have another forecast coming up for you, but it's tailored more to areas around us. Dallas, Little Rock, New Orleans, out eastward towards Mississippi. We'll have a regional forecast here for you, for those of you traveling around the ArkLaTex. That is coming up after a quick commercial break. Welcome on back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, thanks for joining us for the local forecast. Now we're tailoring on to a regional forecast here in just a moment. I want to give a quick shout out to YouTube. In particular, we did have one question on our YouTube that I do want to address, and all it says is good morning. So, good morning, Christian. By the way, Christian Brown, your last name. Yes, I believe, I want to give a quick shout out also to Christian, because I believe I saw a post from meteorologist Matt Jones there, Christian. Just kind of talking to you here for a moment. I saw that you stopped by the station here yesterday afternoon. Hope you liked the tour. Hope you liked the station here at KSLA News 12. And I did want to wish you a happy birthday. I heard it was your birthday yesterday, too. So a little quick birthday shout to you. Birthday shout out to you. And thanks for coming on by. And most importantly as well, thanks for watching us here at KSLA News 12, as always. Now, going back into the forecast here for those of you just rolling into the stream here. Again, we are tailoring into a regional forecast now, kind of going over East Texas, Arkansas, the whole of Louisiana, into Mississippi as well, and also tailoring into Oklahoma. So essentially giving us a forecast for pretty much states around here. It is called the ArkLaTex. We do have technically 4 states that we do cover here. And technically, I want to give you a little forecast again for those of you maybe traveling out to Mississippi as well. So essentially, everywhere in this little blue, in the circle that I'm circling here with my blue arrows, what we're going into Taylor for. Anyways, let's get into the actual forecast. So we're dodging as I kind of mentioned earlier for the local ArkLaTex forecast, we're dodging 2 different systems here for this weekend, which unfortunately, it's hard to dodge. It's hard enough to dodge one system that's trying to sweep around the entire regional area, let alone 2. We have, first of all, the first system today, which is mainly hitting our coastal areas. You can already see, in fact, let me zoom into some of our areas along the coast here. You can already see some of these storms are starting to flare up with some of these higher cloud tops. You can kind of see that with the colors on top of the shades of gray. That indicates that our clouds are increasing in height a lot more. And anytime you get height increase with cloud cover, it indicates more storms, more power, more storm activity around there. So most of the storms essentially are forming in areas around Houston and southeast Texas here for now. These are trying to flare up northward, but most of these are going to stay along the coastline. If you notice off the coast of New Orleans, some of this could develop around for New Orleans here this afternoon as well. Again, that's just system number 1. System number 2 is actually bringing in a line of moisture, which is right now rolling to Oklahoma City. It looks like it's dying off here. To be fair, this is a 6-hour loop that's gone through the morning, so the morning is typically the area of least activity of storms. But for the afternoon, we could get more stormy activity building back up here, especially with this line across Oklahoma and a good portion of Texas here, especially Texas on the drive between Lubbock and Dallas. And then this sweeps eastward across the rest of the region, and yes, that will affect the ArkLaTex. So let's take a look at some of that stormy activity that we're already seeing on our First Alert Doppler radar here. Thankfully, that line across Oklahoma and Texas not really delivering. Maybe a little light drizzle, if anything, but that's actually being quite weak here for now. But again, it's going to rebuild itself back up, especially here for the weekend, especially around the ArkLaTex. Meanwhile, a couple storms, there they are, forming in areas so far to the south and west of Houston, but they're moving northward, as are these storms as well, which could mature as they try to actually get towards Nacogdoches here for the time being. But for right now, they're off to the south here for the time being. So let's take a look at our future track here and see what's to come later on today. All right, so again, here in the afternoon hours, looks like that front that's across Oklahoma and Texas doesn't do too much, and it kind of lingers. That's why we don't have that approaching the ArkLaTex here much here for the day today. But most of our forecast here, most of our focus here for the day today regionally is those coastal showers that I just showed you that are approaching Houston. Again, that's going to fill throughout most of areas around New Orleans here for the afternoon hours, essentially southern Louisiana. It doesn't creep up too much into the ArkLaTex or out towards areas of Monroe. For the most part, maybe some spotty showers late tonight getting into the Monroe territory, northeast Louisiana, and out towards Natchitoches here for this afternoon. That's at least here for the rest of this Friday. So if you're out towards Dallas or out towards Little Rock in Arkansas, I think you'll be fine here for the time being. If you're going coastal areas, that's what I'd watch out here for your Friday. Then for Saturday, first day of the work week, then that front starts to mature and actually strengthen and then come on down. that I just showed you. That's going to be filling most of Oklahoma, it looks like, during the morning hours, and maybe some coastal showers again here in spots of Houston and New Orleans. And essentially the coastal showers and that front I just mentioned kind of combined together, and unfortunately for Saturday, especially in the afternoon hours, that fills most of the regional forecast here in throughout Saturday. It fills Dallas, fills Arkansas, fills southern Texas and southern Louisiana with a good amount of stormy activity, unfortunately, here for your Saturday. Then the storm in line still lingers. It's a slow-moving system, and it looks like it goes through the ArkLaTex here for Sunday, particularly in the afternoon and night, and it looks like it's going to fill Dallas and a good amount of Arkansas with a good amount of that stormy activity. I will say, based on the future track here for the coastline, it looks like we do have more pop-up storms in areas of Houston and southern Louisiana again, but I don't know. Some of the shades of color don't look as impressive, meaning not as many storms forming off the coastline here for Sunday in some of those locations as compared to other days. And then heading into early next week, just to give you a little preview, looks like some of those storms continue off to areas to our north, to the north side of the ArkLaTex, that is, over towards Arkansas and Oklahoma here for your Monday and Tuesday, before we're actually looking to dry things out here for the middle of next week for a good portion of the region. All right, last thing to get into is the actual listing numbers and listing conditions out for you. So right now, temperatures mostly in the upper 80s, 90 degrees across New Orleans. Nobody getting storms here yet, but that's going to change here later on today. Stormy activity mainly just across Houston and New Orleans here for your Friday. If you're going west, if you're going any other direction other than south, I think you're going to stay clear of the storms here, at least for the rest of your Friday. The problem is Saturday. Saturday, a lot more widespread storms. It's not really indicated on this map, it looks like, but as we kind of just went over that future track, I still have more storms technically in store here for areas like Dallas, Shreveport, for example, as well. Still more coastal storms, too, in the process as well around New Orleans and Houston. And lastly here for Sunday, it's more stormy activity, then especially for Dallas and Little Rock. Little Rock also has storms continuing into your Monday and Tuesday as well. Looks like Jackson and Mississippi kind of the best way to go. And we could clear out most of the stormy activity out of Houston, it looks like, here for Sunday, compared to a rainy Friday and Saturday there. There's the full regional forecast here for you. Thank you very much for joining the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Yes, to everybody on our YouTube stream, and for those of you watching on KSLA.com, thank you very much for joining and watching Friday's edition of First Alert Weather Breakdown. That's all I have for you for next week. I'll give you a little preview of that. I will not be here on Monday. Meteorologist CJ Cartledge will be your host here on Monday. I should be back here hosting this episode on Tuesday. Believe it or not, Tuesday, you should come here, especially on Tuesday. Tuesday is the 1-year anniversary of this podcast starting. It's going to be really cool. We're going to try to have some really fun things going for that. That I personally am super excited about. I'll give a surprise as to what's in store, but essentially I will definitely be on that for that episode on Tuesday. I will not be on Monday. We'll have some other cool things happening later on that week, including look at the tropics. I think we'll try to get an interview in. We'll see. You'll have to stay tuned in store here for next work week. But I do know Monday's episode of First Alert with a Breakdown, that will be with meteorologist CJ Cartledge. I don't know what he's doing yet, but we will see. He will be the host for you on Monday. Then I will be the host here for your Tuesday. You should definitely come on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to all y'all being there for essentially the birthday party, the 1-year birthday party of First Alert with a Breakdown starting there on that day. So, yeah, make sure you don't miss it. But, hey, I'll see you later. Have a great weekend. Just watch out for the rain around here, especially around the ArkLaTex, and a little bit around here regionally, too. Have a great weekend, again. I'll see you Monday, or I won't see you Monday, but CJ will see you Monday. Be there, be square, and most importantly, be weather aware. Same time, same place, 10:30 on the live stream that you're watching on now. Have a great rest of your day, and again, enjoy the weekend. See ya.